I will forever talk about Tokyo Nights. You know, you see me at E3 next year, I probably will still be tweeting about Japan. Well, he wasn't wrong. It's been a while since I've actually made a video talking about Tokyo Nights. So I've never made a video just kind of concluding the whole thing. Recently I've been posting bits and bobs here and there on Twitter, on my community tab about Tokyo Nights, and I realized that my channel has grown 3 times the size since I made those original videos. So before we go into the kind of big bulk of things, no, this isn't a game that is only at night in Tokyo. I don't know what everyone seems to think that, because it's in the name. Need for Speed Tokyo Nights is my perfect Need for Speed game. Back in 2018, so 2 years ago now, I basically made a series of videos that was essentially supposed to be kind of a feedback thread for Ghost, and you know what? You go back into the comments of those videos, and there is some genuine gold that you guys left there. It then kind of snowballed, and people kind of chimed in on their own version of Tokyo Nights, and it kind of became a whole community thing. We were blessed with so many good cinematic videos. EKRONICSTYLE's one was fantastic. Crown's one today has like 2 million views, which for a small channel like me, I look at that and I just think, wow, that's nuts. I'm pretty sure it's one of the most viewed videos on his channel, which if that doesn't say there's a demand for a Tokyo Night style game, then I don't know what does. But today, I just kind of wanted to take this full circle and explain what my perfect version of a Need for Speed game is, just to see if people still agree. We've been talking a lot about the future of Need for Speed recently with the move to Criterion. We know customization is here to stay. That has all been pretty much confirmed by the fact that Yasa Design has been employed by Criterion. He is basically a render artist very similar to Kaizel. Ben Walker's also made mentions of it on Twitter, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Anyone who's got half a brain will know that customization is here to stay. So I think especially now, it's 2020, year of the gamer, it's about time the Need for Speed franchise, you know, does something a little bit different but not too jarring, and Need for Speed Japan is the perfect opportunity for that. The car culture, muscles, tuners, exotics, lowriders, the customization hub of the world, famous landmarks that could be used like Mount Fuji, Mount Haruna, otherwise known as Mount Akina, the Ibizu drift circuit. All of these areas could be pretty much remade in a Need for Speed style game in the open world. Believe it or not, if they were to stick with off-roading, there's loads of rally WRC events that happen in Japan. So anyone who tells me that Japan is missing this, this, and this, or it's just racers, you're a noob. You're an absolute noob. Go do your research, you ignorant squash. Every aspect of car culture, whether it's like specific subgenres of tuning like VIP, stance, or whether it's actual racing, like the Japanese love their cars. So that would be a perfect place to take a game which it's supposed to be about car culture. At least that's how it was pitched to me in Need for Speed 2015. If that's what Need for Speed means nowadays, I don't even know anymore. But that's what, you know, it was pitched to me in 2015 with the reboot. Is Need for Speed is going to be urban car culture. It's going to be about customization. The last 2 games have not been about those 2 things, but I'm just going off the dome here. That is what Need for Speed is supposed to be according to the reboot in 2015, which was a reboot of the whole franchise, may I remind you. Obviously, Need for Speed is like fictional. It's always been in fictional, other than the Shift series and stuff. So am I expecting Tokyo, like word for word? No. You could call this initial days if you wanted to. The name's irrelevant, it doesn't matter. A Japanese inspired map would be so refreshing from the same old American roads that we've, you know, come to accustomed to here. The only problem I would have with them doing something across these lines is if the gameplay wasn't up to scratch. Now, this is something that I commonly see. I don't think I'd want to see a Tokyo Night if I'm just going to clip to Zorgon every time I graze an Apex. And I don't know if Criterion are capable of doing something to that degree, because we haven't seen any of their work before. But if they could nail the gameplay, if they could nail the balancing, if they could nail the fundamentals of the game, a map that's inspired by Japan would blow my mind. I'd love Forza Horizon to go there because they already have all the core stuff kind of nailed down, really. But today's video is not about Forza, so I'm gonna leave that be. As far as tone and atmosphere goes, I think you lot did an absolutely fantastic job of trying to convey that in all the cinematics that came out over 2 years ago. Like, I'm just gonna let you watch these for a second.
As you continue to win, you'll certainly be attracting attention of the higher-ups. Every race type has its own respective king guarding their territory. These guys are like royalty, and they're not giving up the throne without a fight.
Absolutely just incredible, some of the work that people put out there. It was just incredible. And that is literally Need for Speed Tokyo Nights in a nutshell. An urban car culture game centered around street racing, drifting, like Wangan. Fingers crossed with a fundamental base of a Need for Speed game that can actually be worked upon and that isn't going to clip you into another universe and isn't going to be missing a multiplayer on launch. That is my perfect Need for Speed game. What I will do is I'll link a few videos down in the description below, so you can go ahead and do a little bit more like research and stuff into it if you want to. There's so much more I could talk about with this. I've made videos talking about the modes, talking about the story I want to see, talking about all of that kind of stuff. That is what Tokyo Nights originally was as a concept. It was my vision for a perfect Need for Speed game, and it was a wish list slash a kind of like development like target thing I would want to put out there. It kind of, everything got a little bit confused at some point in between. Yeah, I'd still love to see a Tokyo Nights game. As long as I could execute it right. I still don't think I would want to see a Tokyo Nights game if it ended up like Heat. Like, if Heat was just in Tokyo, that doesn't mean anything to me because it's still a mediocre game. But if they could nail all the key things that they've been lacking over the years, I think atmosphere is a big point, to be honest, and half of the Tokyo Nights thing is just an atmosphere plea. But if they could nail the physics, if they could nail all of the other stuff, mate, I would be so open for a Tokyo. And now that Criterion's at the helm, who knows? There's a bigger team, more resources being pumped into the series now. Fingers crossed that, you know, something like this can come to fruition. It's 2020 year of the game, a Criterion, I'm begging. But anyway, that's been it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and peace.